All right. Good day, everyone. Welcome to Conversations on Retail. My name is Matt Fifer. I'm joined today by my friend, Allisha Watkins from Paradox Retail. Allisha, thank you so much for making time to visit with me today. When I think about challenger brands that are disrupting categories and growing market share, I always think of you and the team of Paradox first. So I'm thankful for this conversation. As we start, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what Paradox does?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me today. I'm Allisha Watkins. I'm the founder and CEO of Paradox. My journey with the retail industry began about 2 decades ago, working on both established big brands as well as emerging brands. And over the time, I realized there was a significant gap when it came to in the market for a partner who truly understood the unique challenges and opportunities of retail marketing, especially when it came to these size businesses. And that realization led to the creation of Paradox. So we specialize in crafting innovative marketing strategies tailored specifically to those size businesses, helping them navigate all the complexities that exist in the market and achieving sustainable growth that they're seeking.
It seems like some of the best innovation and category disruption is coming from the small, more entrepreneurial brands, and I'm wondering why you think that might be.
Yeah. So those brands often have the agility and the creative freedom that larger, more established companies lack. They can quickly adapt to market changes, which are rampant, as well as experiment with new ideas. They can take risks without the burden of all the bureaucratic processes that larger corporations have. And that flexibility allows them to innovate rapidly and disrupt traditional categories.
It seems like in recent years, let's say the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a real acceleration in terms of the number of startups that are entering CPG. I'm wondering if you see it the same way and if you can attribute that to anything.
Yeah, it's interesting. Especially during COVID, we saw this rapid acceleration. There's a lot of factors that have contributed to this besides just the pandemic, but you would assume that there would be a large peak and then it would kind of drop off. But we're still seeing that rapid acceleration of startups and CPG, and I don't think that that's going to stop. What's contributed to it is the rise of e-commerce and social media. They've lowered the barriers to entry, allowing startups to reach and engage consumers directly that they didn't have the opportunity to before. And additionally, advancements in technology and supply chain logistics have just made it easier for these new brands to be able to produce and distribute their products that didn't exist in the past. And finally, a growing number of consumer preferences for those unique and authentic and sustainable products has fueled the demand for these types of brands as well. They're often mission driven. They have a very clear purpose and they resonate with their audience. And they leverage these digital platforms to build and nurture a very intimate community as well.
Yeah. Well, you kind of answered my next question, which was what are some of the advantages that challenger brands have? And I think you nailed it. But can you think of any other reason, any other advantage that these startup and challenger brands, the advantages that they would have?
Sure. I think they understand their target audience on a deeper level that some of the larger brands may not truly understand. They build these loyal communities around their brands and their businesses first, and they are more agile and innovative. They're responding to those conversations in real time. And it's not just a bot. It's not just another agency that's answering those questions. They're connecting with them one-on-one. And that community is pretty strong. They can also leverage their smaller size to create more personalized experiences that larger companies have a very hard time authentically doing.
Yeah. What about in terms of disadvantages? Are there, besides capitalization, which would be an obvious, what other disadvantages would a startup or a challenger brand have to face that some of the larger, more incumbent brands might not?
Sure. I mean, you nailed it. It's resources. And they don't have the infrastructure that larger companies do. I myself, being a smaller business, feel that as well. So I truly can understand and empathize, with where they're at. They have to make every dollar work and make it work really hard. Same for our company as well. But it can be challenging to scale as quickly as they want to, or quickly as they have had experience in the past, maybe working for a larger brand. And so patience is key. But also they may struggle with recognition and trust at first and feel like everyone knows who their brand is. It takes time, and it takes consistent connection with their core audience to build that reputation. I think we often explore new businesses, and this is one of the things that they feel like should already happen from the get, and it takes a while, especially in those competitive categories that they have to break through the norm.
Yeah. I was talking recently with Tom Logan from Coley, and we were talking in terms of how now is the best of times and the worst of times with respect to starting a new consumer brand. The best of times because it's never been easier to start a new company in general, but certainly not a consumer brand. The worst of times because it's never been easier, and there's so much in the market, and you wonder. So Dr. Clay Christensen from Harvard University had some research many years ago. It was called milkshake marketing. It was this idea that 80% of new products will ultimately fail. And I'm just wondering, with so much, I don't want to say overcrowding, but with so much innovation at once, are you seeing a failure rate increasing among some of these startup and challenger brands? Is there a higher failure rate just because there's so many of them trying to get into the system at once?
Absolutely. I think that, if they don't have the right partners in place at the beginning, guiding them along the way, oftentimes they are making decisions that aren't for long term. They're very short term, decisions that I think don't position them in the right way. And also then, they spend the dollars that they have, or they're not making the right moves. And I do see a higher rate of issue with them actually staying on shelf once they get in, or even being able to get to that point in their journey. And it's just the decision-making process, and decisions are hard. Oftentimes these founders and these creators have no idea what to do. They don't know where to go first. And they have a lot of people telling them a lot of things. And who do they trust? How do they make sure that those investments that they're placing are the right ones? And oftentimes that can either limit them, or they'll just, make the wrong decisions. And then it's hard to recover from that, for sure.
Yeah. As many of these companies are in and out of your office, as many of these companies that you and your team are interacting with on a week by week basis, it might be difficult to pick favorites. But are there some brands that you follow more closely that you think are really doing things right?
Sure. We have our favorites of the clients that we work with. And I would say outside of this building here and in the businesses that we work on, I've always thought that I've been particularly impressed by the innovation and impact of Dollar Shave Club and Warby Parker. They've revolutionized their industries by offering, a different type of model, a very affordable price, which is, consumers are very price sensitive. They've disrupted the traditional retail model and continue to bring new perspective and innovation, not just at launch, but for the foreseeable future. So they have created a community and a brand and a reputation that stands behind that, and I think that they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah. Talk about a couple of your clients. You have a couple of brands that you've really enjoyed working alongside and celebrating their progress.
Yeah, it's interesting when someone asked me this question the other day, what makes a really good client for us? And I said, someone who sits alongside, with us, who we have trust on both sides, transparent communication, and we're helping them grow, is with all of the tools that we have in our toolbox. I would say we've had really good success with one of our top clients, in that not just the work that we're doing and the results that we're achieving for their business and week over week growth, but the relationship that we have with them. And that's most important to me. They can hire anyone, any agency. And once you get to the top, core group, we all do the same thing, but it's who you work with. So that client for us is Health Aid, and we've been able to start with their business and expand it. They just achieved the Instacart fastest growing brand in recognition for that. So we're super proud of the work that we've done. We started small and now we're up to, I think, 10, retailers and working with them, and have driven a ton of efficiency. Their team is fantastic to work with. We love talking to them and we have fun doing it. And I think that's the most important thing. So besides the sales results, of course, but yes, they are definitely a gold star for sure.
You've already alluded to a couple of reasons why challenger brands might fall short, one being resources, capitalization, the other being sort of a recognition of how steep the learning curve is and how difficult it is to break in from the outside, and the need to have the help of experts that can help you move faster and more precisely with fewer mistakes. But what are some other areas where you feel like the challenger brands that aren't making it, aren't getting it? Where are the areas that they're falling short?
It's typically their operations in maintaining the quality as they grow.
Keeping promises.
Keeping promises. And we were recently in LA with our Health Aid team and looking at their new facility and how they've adjusted to that demand, going from, homemade like batch kombucha to now this massive production. And it's really exciting to see that. And also they will not sacrifice quality. Additionally, a lot of challenger brands fall short in maintaining consistent branding and messaging, especially as they expand into new markets and new product categories. They have a really, really hard time doing that. And that's one of our roles that we play often with our clients, is just making sure that they are consistently showing up and showing up the same way. And that produces results in week over week results as well. Additionally, some will fall short in not being able to anticipate financial pressures, especially with rapid growth. And it leads to cash flow issues and operational challenges. And it's really exciting to get into a new retailer. But if you're not prepared for that, it's definitely not the best decision at the time. And I think those shiny doors are quite appealing, but they can wreak havoc on a lot of businesses for sure.
Yeah. I think one of the other challenges that suppliers broadly might face is just the number of options they have with respect to experts and solution providers, reps and brokers and growth agencies. How does a company that is, a consumer brand that's on the outside trying to get started, how do they find the right partners? What are the questions they should be asking? What's the evidence they should be seeking?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because there are a ton of options out there, whether it's a brokerage or a marketing agency or a digital partner or whoever it is. I think the most important thing is that they connect, not only have a true understanding of what their services are and their capabilities, and is that a good fit for them, but would they enjoy working with those individuals as well? And because it does get hard. And you want to make sure that you have a good trusted relationship when it's hard. And it's fun and exciting when you're growing and things are great, but that's not always going to be the case, I've learned. And so being able to have that trusted partner to call up and work through some of those issues and challenges is really, really important. Also, they should connect with their prior partners or current partners as well, and get the feedback. Oftentimes our clients are more than happy to have a conversation with any prospects that we're having discussions with, to share their experiences. And, I'm hopeful that they share, what has worked really well for them and maybe what hasn't, but then take into account what they really truly need, not what else someone else is telling them. And just because it's not, it may not be a good fit right now, I think timing is critical. And I often say that timing is really important for everything. It doesn't mean you have to do everything at once. You've got to make the right decision of what you need first, and then continue to grow and move on from there.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the Paradox experience. Talk about your team, talk about your philosophy, talk about, how you go about onboarding new clients, or maybe back it up a little bit, assessing what a potential client even needs from you. What is that experience?
Sure. Well, it's almost daily, which is really exciting for us. We're growing rapidly. Our team has expanded significantly, and we've also increased our services as well. So we are a full service retail marketing agency. We offer a comprehensive suite of services from brand development and design and packaging all the way through execution for events and retail media as well. Again, our focus is specifically on emerging and challenger brands, and that's a huge need for our services right now in that space. And so it's really important that we as we start the conversation with them, we understand where they are in their journey, where their intentions are to get to, what are their hopes and dreams. And if they don't know that, then we'll work with them to figure out what does the future look like? What's the opportunity in this space, especially if they don't have a partner who's helping them decipher all of that, and really truly work with them on what is the appropriate strategy for their business at this time based on all the factors, what's going on in retail, what's going on in the category, what is their shopper consumer looking for, how do they make sure that they show up and break through those 30,000 brands that are in shoppers faces every single day. And so when we start the conversation, I also want to make sure that they're a good fit for us. Do we believe in their product? Do we feel like it's a good fit for our team? Are we excited about it? And are they fun and great to work with? We have a no jerk policy. And I think that's really important because we want our team to show up really excited every single day about the work that they're doing. And we're here all day with each other. And our culture, our community, our connection here as a team is most critical. And the more happy that our team is, the happier that our clients are going to be. And so as we assess the opportunities that come our way, not everything is a good fit, and that is okay. We're going to find the right partners that we want to spend our time and our valuable knowledge and information and expertise providing and helping them grow. But we see a tremendous appreciation for where they are in their journey, help them get to where they're going and figure out the right tools that are necessary to do that. And it looks different for almost every single business. So we can't assume that they're all in the same place because they're not. And there's nuances for every single component of, different categories or different retailers that we work in because we span across all retail and support our clients that way. And so you have to have an understanding of that going into the conversation, ask the right questions. And then usually it's a few different discussions that we have along the way to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. It's kind of like dating. Like we gotta make sure we like each other. And is this going to be a good fit? Is it not? And sometimes it's not, and that is okay on either side. And we will always lead with transparency and integrity. Those are core to our beliefs and our values. And that has to be reciprocal on both sides.
Yeah. Give us a sense for what you think the future looks like on both sides, by the way. I don't see there being any deceleration in terms of innovation and bringing new products forward. But my question is really more about at what point do retailers begin, by way of policy and practice, to purge some of the smaller brands in order to price them out with retail media that becomes a really unnecessary tax in order to participate? What does the future look like? And are you optimistic from the perspective of a challenger brand?
Okay, I'm going to pack a lot of that. You a couple bombs in there.
Yeah.
I think first of all, I don't see smaller challenger brands, emerging brands going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think there might be some accumulation and bigger brands, scooping them up to fill a gap maybe they have in their portfolio. And that's exciting. That's what every emerging brand, potentially wants. Not every, a lot of them do. And I think that's a great place to be, but I don't see the innovation stopping. And we work across every category of personal care, grocery, baby, pet, where we have expertise and knowledge, and it's continuing to grow, which is good. It's what consumers want. It's what retailers need. And it gives an opportunity for the smaller guy to win. Additionally, when it comes to the tactics and the way that they grow, you mentioned retail media, and I think that's a very hot topic right now. As it should be. There's, increased demand on investment in this space. And I will say, we've been able to support our challenger brands. We have those services in-house. And so we take away a lot of the costs that they might have with a third party. And so that's extremely valuable to a lot of these brands that I mentioned earlier. Every single dollar counts. And so that's a service that we offer and provide full visibility and transparency in what's going on in their business, where there's opportunity to grow, and how that's working for them. It is one tool in the toolbox, but it is definitely an important one. And it's the closest point of conversion and connection to the shopper that they need to get to, while still building the awareness and their brand as well. So you can't sacrifice one for the other. And we have those conversations almost daily, but it's about making the right moves at the right time. I would say looking ahead, we see several trends and opportunities that we are super excited about, both for our clients as well as our new prospects and just the industry in general. And I would say on the headwind side, there's a lot of economic uncertainty that we're all kind of, feeling, and shifting in consumer behaviors that poses a lot of challenges that we've got to keep up with. However, there's a huge growing emphasis on sustainability, which is really exciting. The rise of DTC models. A lot of our clients are DTC, trying to get into retail, or are just launched into retail, and they have no idea what to do because it's a completely different dynamic. And then, of course, the advancements in technology. And they also provide significant, innovative ways to connect with those consumers. But AI is one of those, data analytics, and just getting, nitty gritty on what's going on in the business and truly understanding that. And you not just having the data, because I think it's been there, but it's, so what? What do we do with it, and how do we leverage that for growth? And oftentimes that data is correlated to the sales side, but it's just as important on the marketing side as well, and having a pulse on the business, because we have to make decisions in real time on what's going on, especially with these challenger brands as well. So with all that being said, being able to transform these retail experiences, whether it's online, offline, is really, really exciting. And it's all coming together, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Do you see, and this might be a difficult question to even articulate, let alone answer, but do you see a point where retailers might have to put a little bit of a squeeze on some of the challenger brands in order to rationalize their assortment? And I know that they can deal with most of it algorithmically, but there's this mindset, I think, that online you've got an unlimited amount of shelf space, but at some point, do retailers in an online environment begin to sort of declutter, and does that come at the expense of some of the smaller challenger brands, in your opinion?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so online, because they aren't limited to 4 feet or 12 feet, right?
Sure.
Now, what's really important, especially for brands who are either launching online first and then in store, is to know that it's share of voice and share of shelf, and you've got to make sure that you show up. Visibility is critical. If you're not visible, you can't buy you. And so it doesn't matter whatever TikTok campaign you have going on, or influencer, or you went viral. If the shopper can't find you on the shelf and you don't show up when they're searching in the consideration set, it doesn't matter. So when it comes to these retailers, I don't see them putting a squeeze on the items online necessarily, but most definitely the real estate in store is as precious as it has ever been, and probably even more so. And so having a unique proposition, a differentiation, how you're going to break through. We have these conversations all the time with our clients, and we're getting ready to launch a new brand at Walmart that has killed it on Amazon and has been just a phenomenal business. And, they have a really great following and a loyal consumer. And we're launching at Walmart, and it's not where you think it would be. It's not in the category that makes sense. And it's in a different area of the store, and the shopper's not going to go look for them there. So we got to really break through that very competitive category to let the shopper know that they're there, and where to find them and how to buy them. But when it comes to online, you don't have to worry about where their placement is in store. We just have to make sure that they show up, and that the shopper can find them and they can buy them and continue to buy them.
Yeah. Besides the rapid growth of your business, congratulations. Besides the success stories that you and your team are getting to be a part of, congratulations. What are you the most excited about in this year ahead?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We just hit 5 years, which I was told if you can make it to 5 years, you're in a really great place. And We've done a ton of work internally and on our side to continue that acceleration and continue that growth. No doubt we've had our fair share of bumps and challenges along the way, as any startup does, and know that that's not gonna that won't be it either. They're gonna continue to come. So we're future proofing as much as we can and scenario planning for that. But I'm really excited to see the expansion of our services and our team and our clients and working across different platforms. We're constantly learning and growing. And I've been in this industry now for almost 20 years. And I would say I learn every single day. Our team does too. And we're testing and trying new things and figuring out different ways, to help our clients. But with all the experiential retail, the increase of personalization, AI, the growing demand for sustainable and ethical products, I love seeing, brands and companies rally around minority-led and women-owned businesses. And so that gets us really, really excited. Also finding new ways to connect with our audiences and our clients' audiences too. So both as much internal growth as we are as excited about the space that challenger brands or the platform that they now have to be able to grow and expand. It wasn't easy 5 years ago, and now I think we're making a lot of inroads in getting there. So we're excited to see that continue to expand and grow.
Yeah. As we wrap up, what advice would you give to a startup or a challenger brand that's at the very beginning? How do they not only start strong, but maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that far too many fall into?
Sure. I think the most important thing that comes to mind is building a strong brand identity. Oftentimes, brands are just quick to pull the trigger and run to the sexy, shiny things like influencers and digital media, but they haven't truly understood their core audience, what resonates with them, building that identity and making sure that their communication strategy and their branding not just serves them today and again helps to break through those 30,000 brands that are available in store, but also what does that look like for the next 3 to 5 years, and how do they make sure that they're set up for that potential growth as well. So go slow. Make sure that you've got a really good solid foundation, because you can't build a house on a shaky platform. So we've got to make sure that they're prepared to iterate to meet their consumers' needs, and that we've got everything set up, and that we can get to the fun and exciting stuff. The hard part is they want to drive demand out of the gate, and I don't blame them. They definitely need to do that in order to prove, results to their retailer partners, or to their internal, key stakeholders. But it's both. It's a paradox. It's making sure that they've got that strong foundation also while doing some of the things that are important to help accelerate their business as well. So just be patient. Make sure you have the right people in the room, the right partners who are helping you and truly have their best interest, and are in it for the long haul, because it's quite the journey.
Well, thank you so much for making time for this conversation. Bit of a personal note for those watching. Allisha, I'm a lot older than her, but in some ways she and I sort of grew up in the business together. I was dabbling in a little shopper marketing business and learned so much from Allisha when she was working in marketing for big CPG. So I admire you so much for all you've done and all you've stood for, and certainly everything that you're accomplishing with this team, and couldn't be more excited to see what you do going forward. So Allisha Watkins, founder and CEO of Paradox Retail, thank you so much, and best of luck to you and your team going forward. Have a great day.
I appreciate you.
Thanks. Bye.